Howdy, everybody. I am Kolik, and this is Summoner's War. Now, today in honor of Rune Free Removal Day, let's say, I have runes that I need to power up and some runes that I need to craft. I figure I'd share with you these runes that I'm going to work on because it gives you kind of an idea of what my overall rune philosophy is. Now, obviously, I do have two accounts, the US and the Europe account. The US account is one I'm going to be doing first. I've mostly been farming a Necropolis recently because I need the mana and also because I have a serious lack of depth on will runes. But most of that will rune depth has been kind of fixed. So the first thing I'll do is go over here and see how many runes I can craft. So now when you're crafting runes, and if you haven't actually noticed this before, all the runes that drop from giants have the same type. So they will have the same materials. All the runes that drop from dragons drop the same thing, and all the things that drop from Necropolis, same things. Okay. Now the fight, determination, enhanced accuracy, and tolerance, they're not too useful, and they differ a little bit. Those are really late game runes, and you probably shouldn't bother with them. Except, I found it pretty cool to go ahead and make some fight runes when I was leveling up my homunculus to max skills, which did take a while, and I really do like him. My fire homunculus I use to kill Sierras in those top end Sierra Orion X teams that people like to put on Guild War defense. But anyway, back to what I was talking. What I would talk about: Swift runes, Violet runes, Will runes. They're all very powerful runes um, because they're in very high demand. Uh, Rage, if you're gonna go for a set other than Will, if you feel like your Will rune is finally reached enough depth, Rage is a really good option to try and get some extra runes out of, because Rage can give you defense and HP percent runes, where those runes are trash if you try and create Fatals. Now, Fatal versus Swift, I'm always going to go for Swift because Swift, if you get that one Swift speed rune that's so sweet, so nice, so much speed, it's a game changer. These things are amazing if you can get one, which means that to me, crafting Swift runes is more important than crafting Fatal runes. Even though my illusions are, fatal. I think on this account, actually, maybe one's on Swift. But just because you get that nice little chance. Now it's a small chance, okay? This is Calm to Us. This is Summoner's War. Everything is random, but you do get that nice little chance. So my usual thing is I use craft either Swift, Violent, or Will. But today I think I'm gonna got enough Will runes that I'm gonna start crafting some Rage. I don't have a lot of Rage runes. For some reason, they're just not dropping for me in Necropolis either. I don't know if they're a lower drop rate or not, but they just don't seem to drop for me. So let's see how much stuff I have. Okay, so I got enough to craft just a few here. And I think I got enough to craft. Yeah, I got craft enough to craft a few. But let's go ahead and start with Swift. Let's see what we can get. 6 star. This run's not that good, useful to me. If I'm going to keep one for, I don't recommend keeping this run at all for anybody. In a Swift spot, you want speed as a sub, and grinding speed on this type of rune, you don't get that many speed grindstones. Is what it comes down to. No matter how much time you've been doing R5, I've been doing R5 a lot in the last 2 months, and the number of speed gems that you get that you put onto here that you would want to then spend a speed grindstone, which is also rare. A Swift speed grindstone is pretty rare. Um, it's really low. I mean, like really, really low, and you would not want to spend it on this rune. Okay, so this rune to me is, even though it could roll triple defense, high defense is not that important on a Swift rune. It could roll triple accuracy. That would be its best stat if it rolled triple accuracy, but it's already lowest roll on accuracy to start. I don't like the way that's going to turn out. The problem is, if even if it turns out really well, it has no depth. If you get a better one, this rune gets chucked. So I would go ahead and sell this rune. Man, it's kind of sucks selling purple Swift runes, but that's what I think. All right. Now, this is a no. It's got nothing, no synergy, nothing to going for it, no speed, nothing. Okay, a 5 slot. I will not keep this. You could argue that you could keep some of these runes and maybe you could roll really high and you put it under Bernard. The fact of the matter is, the chance of rolling, just rolling, speed 4 times is 1 in 81. So you would have to pull out an average for 50% chance of doing this. You had to pull somewhere around 45, 50 runes, is how the math works out. And those rolls will average give you 4, 4, 4, 4. So that would give you plus 16, 21. Okay? Now 21 sounds pretty good, but that is pretty low chances to be able to get this. It's a lot of mana investment. I don't like the fact that it's attack percent, attack flat attack, because it just doesn't synergize well. If it was a plus 5 and an actual HP percent or defense percent, I would consider doing this. But I don't like that this. It's not good enough in my opinion to try and keep and power up. These kind of runes right there that you can make an argument to power them up, but I think they're just a money sink. And as much problems as we have, especially with the new crafting system, as acquiring money, mana, it's hard. This is a sell. Okay. There are very few crit rate runes that are needed by people. Um, you just don't want to bother with them. Okay, this could roll a 15 swift speed, in my opinion. I mean, a 14. This is not worth trying unless you really, really need them, because the chances are that is 1 in 4 times 1 in 9, so 1 in 36. This has a 1 in 36 chance of giving 14 speed. The average 1 in 4 chance that would give, if you rolled speed twice, would be a 12. And a 12 is a blue rune that kind of failed. So to me, this is not this. These aren't keepers. These are ways to sink your mana away, essentially, in hopes. It's You want to try and plan out your mana expenditures for those long term investments, if you will, the runes that could give you the most bang for the buck, because you're going to have problems with mana later on, especially if you start farming a lot of giants, which a lot of people should be spending more time in giants. So I can certainly see that. All right, now we're gonna have to flip around here to make sure I got enough room. All right, that's a sell. Nothing to see there. All right, so let's see. I said I was going to do some rage. Let's see how much rage I can do. Yeah, let's do a few rage. Let's see what we get. Oh, nothing much there. I have a resist rune that has like 20 base speed on it, and it's not used. Okay, so resists our runes are almost auto cells. That's trash. That's not worth keeping. You're gambling a lot on that kind of rune to try and power it up, and you're better off having that extra mana in your bank so that you can power up runes that you care about. Again, crit rate is not that used, and uh, I'm not going to power up 5-star crit rate runes regardless of their subs. Another 5-star HP percent. That's not good enough for me. I want 6-star runes in those slots. You give up a lot of stats if you try to run with 5-star runes on these things instead of 6 stars. Now, it could be that you could dream that speed will roll up to plus 20. The chances of speed rolling plus to plus 20 is going to be 1 in 27 times 1 in 27. Okay, now doing that math in my head, that's not good. Now you're talking about somewhere around 1 in 700, 800. Yeah, so you're talking that like 0.2% chance that this thing would turn into 20 speed. And for that, You have no other good subs. Okay. You have nothing. You're hoping for that. I think that is a great way to waste your mana because even if it's rage and you get 20 speed, it has no crit. It has no crit rate. It has no crit damage. You'd have to gem on one of them or pray that you get one of them as the fourth stat and then gem the other, and you would still be giving up a lot of speed in that case. I don't think that is a great chance to spend your mana. There's a lot of things I want to be able to spend my mana on, and I'd rather it give me mana instead. Alright, so I don't want to make sure I don't spend too much here, so let's go over and let's pop over and do some violence. Violence a little bit more forgiving about, but resistance to me, the resistance system is kind of broken. Um, and the reason why resistance is kind of broken in this game is that, let me think about how to describe it. Okay, first off, there's will runes. Okay, and will runes basically trump resistance. Second thing, there's Tiana. Tiana trumps everything as far as that kind of stuff goes. But the third thing it goes is this accuracy is far more important than resistance. Because on accuracy, the attacker gets to determine who has the accuracy. Okay? Resistance is only good if your opponent has no accuracy. Alright, now think about that. So what is resistance good against? Theomars. Okay? Perna. Okay? But not Galleon, not Orion, not strippers, not Tessarians that are built that way, probably not even Veramos, probably maybe not even Bella. And you're talking like everything that applies a debuff to you, resistance is pretty much useless against them if your opponents, even max, if your opponents have put themselves to 85% accuracy, your resistance doesn't matter at all. And so that's why resistance to me most time is a wasted stat. Now, it's in the middling range where it can matter, and like an R5, that's why R5 it can matter in that range, um, because you pump up your resistance as high as possible because he doesn't have 85 accuracy. You know, he's got like 40 or something like that, and so that means that you can resist half the effects and or something in that range. Okay, and that's when that matters, but um, for the most part, you're making a heavy investment to get to resistance. I mean, resistance plus 100. Okay, it's the same thing. Basically, getting an extra 100% attack. Wow. Uh, I mean, come on. I mean, wouldn't you want a plus 100% attack? Yeah. To me, the whole resistance system should change. Now, I don't believe that most people should complain about systems unless they can figure out some way to a replacement system that actually makes sense. I think that resistance should be something like a layered shield, if you will. You resist the next X effects based on your uh, um, level of resistance. So, like, say, maybe you'll resist 20 effects, but then accuracy has a chance to then either increase the proc rate that they would actually break these levels of resistance, or maybe break multiple levels of resistance so that they can break through them. Basically, resistance would be a worthwhile stat because it would prevent debuffs from getting on you. But only last a while, and so it would basically peter out as the time went on. Um, if you did it that way, it may have to change for how it works in the PvE system, but I think that would be pretty cool for PvP. Anyway, this is a sale. Sorry for the aside. Let's see what we get. Yep, that's a sale. Alright, so not getting much here. That's for sure. See, I got definitely another one here I can craft. That's going to be another sell. Now, one of the things you can take a look at to determine this is you can take a look at the rune optimizer. And the rune optimizer is going to tell you pretty quickly which ones you can use. Alright, so let's go ahead and craft one more violent. Yep, that's a sell. There are very few attack percent slot fours that you can actually use, and ironically, a lot of them have to be either they need to have like lots of high crit rate subs, or they need a lot of HP subs for things like Anival, things that have an attack based but are support type monsters, and I need kind of stuff like that. All right, I guess this is gonna be the last rune, so I don't think I've kept anything. Hmm. Kind of a crappy little crafting session. All right, so let's go over, and I have runes to power up. Yeah, you can tell. If I had something there, I would it would say new. All right, so I find the easier way to find these rune power ups is right here, and on the optimizer. So it says I got a Swift rune. Now some of these might have been kept accidentally from crashes or whatnot. It says I got okay, +5 crit damage. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll power that up. Now the reason why I'm keeping this one is it actually has two useful subs. It has a crit damage sub that's got an okay roll on it. I think that's max actually for a 5-star. And if I roll high crit damage or high speed, I think it's kind of a keeper, because you can always take a crit rate and fix this because it's a slot 3. So you got, in these kind of runes, you have to think about slot 3s are actually different than slot 1s or slot 5s because slot 3s can't have any attack percent on them, versus 1s and 5 can have both. So if you're missing an attack, well, you're always going to be missing an attack percent on slot 3. So the only three important stats are speed, crit rate, and crit damage as far as a damage rune. So since I have two of those, and I could possibly gem on a third, then this could make this rune useful. Unfortunately, it rolled flat HP. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and sell this rune because 10 crit damage or 15 speed might be okay. I don't really like it though. Without another stat in there like HP or accuracy to go with that stuff. All right, well I definitely have this rune. This rune looks pretty nice. So I want to have honestly any of these stats is okay. I mean attack percent and crit rate is preferable, but HP is not a wasted stat. Um, the nice thing, at least about HP also being on here, is the fact that you can grind it so that it gives you some extra HP on top of what it's going to roll. Hopefully, it's going to grow crit rate. All right, we got a minimum roll and a crit rate, so that's cool. Oh, I'm sorry. I am doing this the whole time, and I didn't even flop back over to the screen. Wow, I'm sorry, guys. I am total YouTube you, total YouTube noob. But I'm learning. All right, I'm trying to make these. Hope y'all are gonna have some enjoyment out of them. Um, yeah, you can laugh at my mistakes. All right, 15 crit rate. That's really good. I really like this rune. Now, so I'm going to keep this no matter what it rolls into. If it rolls into crit rate, though, I mean, that is awesome. Now, if you remember, I was talking about before about you could grind on you could gem on speed and grind it on a different rune, and I'm saying it's not worth it. I think it was that purple Swift's rune that I was talking about. And this is an exact example of why it's not worth to put it on that other rune. This would be an awesome rune with a speed sub on it. Okay? And this would be a rune that you want to put your gem on and then grind it, and it'd be worthwhile. And that makes that other rune just junk sitting in your inventory because these gems are so hard to get for speed grinds. You're not going to waste one on that rune. You're going to want to, if you don't have one to spend it on, you're going to want to hold it. Awesome. Wow. All right. 20 crit rate. Wow. Wow, that's really impressive. And in fact, I'll tell you this. This is really impressive also because of the fact that it's a Swift rune. Okay? And it's probably go on something like a Lucian or maybe my Fire Homunculus or something like that. Um, and you need high crit rate because I don't run a crit rate buffer. So I need something like 95. 85 would be the minimum probably for Fire Homunculus because its usual target is Sierra. But I would rather have like 100% because after he kills Sierra, usually his next goal is going to be, the Perna or the Rakan that's there with him. Um, Yeah, so I would rather have 100%, especially on Lucians, obviously, because crit rate is actually your best damage stat. That's why until it caps, and that's how it works in most of these games, is that crit rate is actually your best damage stat. It gives you the most damage increase no matter what, up until the cap, and then an attack percent. Now you can exceed it by getting lucky. But on average damage output, you want to have your crit rate highest, and particularly in arenas when you fail to crit on high end arenas, that means you lose. Okay, so 5% chance of losing, not such a great feeling. Okay, you want to make that extra little bit of effort and make sure you have the 0% on there. Now, obviously, the best thing that would hit here is speed. +6. It's very unlikely. But we'll see. Maybe it will. I have to admit, I didn't appreciate much about how thirsty you get while talking this much in videos. And man, don't you want to speed up some of these animations? All right, so roll flat HP. Definitely not the worst thing, but definitely this is a rune that I would want to gem this up and get rid of that flat HP and put in a speed gem, an attack grindstone, an HP grindstone, and a speed grindstone. And this thing's amazing. All right, so let's take a look. Where else do we have these Swift runes? So I have a slot 6 attack rune. Oh yeah, I just found this morning, and I'm like, wow. Now, on this rune, even if it rolled flat attack once, I'd still be okay on keeping it. I would rather prefer it didn't. Maybe I'd keep it on +2. I mean, having the defense, the crit damage, and the crit rate on there already max roll. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Um, and the flat attack is not necessarily bad because, in fact, it really isn't that bad because the other stat you'd want to have on here is HP percent. Well, not HP, but speed. So this is another one that you want to put a speed gem on. Um, right. But anyway, let's see. Maybe we can get crit rate here. Crit rate would be awesome. Yeah. All right. Minimum roll, but that's still pretty good. Again, this is the type of rune that I was talking about in the rune optimizer video that I would want to go ahead and grind up to +12 to start before rune free removal day, just like I did the other one. Because speed matters. If I roll a speed sub here, then it can change, my team's synchronization on going which unit goes first, whether the armor breaker, which will probably be galleon, but if it goes first or second. So I'm going to need to power this thing up to +12, which is why again you want to keep around your excess mana, and that's why you need to be picky about which runes you keep. Now I'd like to make a video behind some of the math on deciding what runes you should keep based on what runes you have, but I haven't been able to work through all the math yet to bring that kind of information to you because it is complicated and I want to make it understandable for everybody, which is not always the easiest thing in the world. Anyway, wow, this rune just turned out. This rune is awesome. Wow. So double crit damage and a crit rate roll. And it's 2 off max on crit damage, 2 off max on crit rate. Whew. I don't even know what to say. This thing's amazing. Now, I suppose I could there's 3 subs that are actually kind of useful here. The best one would be a speed sub because um, speed's very high demand. Second best would probably be an HP percent sub because if I roll HP percent, then I could grind speed. Okay, if I roll speed, then I can grind HP. And HP, generally speaking, is just better than defense percent. Alternatively, I can roll defense percent and I would grind speed. Now, if I don't roll any of those, so if it rolls resistance or maybe accuracy, I might keep an accuracy and roll off the flat attack. If it rolls resistance, there's a pretty good chance that I would roll off resistance and keep flat attack for that extra little damage bus, and just mark down in my notes that I want to keep a swift flat attack rune when I go into raids. So 4% accuracy. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm gonna have to. Well, I have to get some grindstones for that. I'm gonna have to think about where to go, what to do with it. All right. So next thing up is we got a blade rune. Let's look at these blade runes, and the blade rune is a slot 1, a 2, a 2, and a 5. Let's go ahead and start with that. Must be it right there, slot 5. All right. So right here we go. So I always keep anything that is plus 6. Well, I keep anything that's speed, that's 6 star, um, that's purple, no matter what kind of rune it is. You can possibly get this rune up to plus 24 speed, grind it up plus 28. That would not be a cap of my range, but it'd be pretty good. That roll sucked though, alright? I could roll crit rate, or could roll speed. Now, unfortunately, the chances to only roll crit rate and speed are a lot lower than you would think. I'm gonna have to talk about that in that math video that I was discussing. Um, but it's going to happen a lot that you roll once into those flats. It's just mathematically how probability works. So now I'm basically faced with the fact that I got a good chance that this rune is just going to be crap. But what I want to do is I'm going to take a look and see if it really is. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my blade runes, and then I'm going to sort by speed. So then I'm going to look at slot 5. And so my fastest speed blade rune is 15. Alright, so that tells me that if I went ahead and rolled it, and I got average speed rolls on the next two, I'd have a 16. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this even though it rolled one flat. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and resort is the other thing. Resort it by set and then level. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Now going from 1 to 3 is really cheap. Going through 4 to 6 is not so bad. I believe it's a 25K on average to get from 1 to 6. So that's not really that bad. It's the one, and then 1 to 9 though is about 75K on average. So okay, this rolled flat attack again. I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it because yeah, I don't need that. All right, I don't think it said I had any threes. I think it said I had 2 2s and a 1. So let's go see if I can find that 1. Oh, I got a legendary one. Alright, well, obviously, I don't want to roll flat attack here. Anything else could turn out to be pretty cool. Any combination of crit rate and HP, or attack and crit rate. Yeah. Now, even if this rolls badly, though, I'm going to go ahead and keep it for those world boss fights. I know Shredded Puzzle, he likes to keep purples for world bosses. I see no point in trying to keep runes that are that low. This rune is probably, I'm going to go ahead and roll it to plus 12 anyway. So that's 1/3 of the cost of actually getting it to plus 15 if it turns out to be just a world boss rune. Um, so well, if I've invested that amount of money in it, it's worthwhile doing it. But a purple one, like especially like a purple flat stat one, you get so many of them. So many that are not worth keeping. I don't think that it's worth your money to invest in these things that just aren't going to be worth it long term. Oh wow, okay. So far we're doing good crit rate and HP. But anyway, I don't think it's worth investing in these things that don't have a possibility of benefiting you. Okay, unless it's actually like a flat stat rune two, four, six, because you're gonna get one, three, and five, and they're always flat. Okay, some of them aren't gonna roll well. That's how it works, right? This is a game based on randomness, and so some things just aren't going to work well. And yeah. Anyway, um, so if we can get these, as I said, if I get this to, wow, I can still roll 22 crit rate. It's not going to. It's not going to. I've already had all my luck today, right? I got a 20 crit rate, crit damage Swift rune with attack percent sub, and that other attack percent. It's like a, well, all right. See, I knew it rolled flat HP. All right, as I said, I'm going to go ahead and power this up to plus 12 though. Um, I consider Blade Runes when I look at this to have already a built-in plus 6% crit rate. I mean, again, that's not technically true, but that's how I like to view it. So this really is like a 16 crit rate rune with HP percent. One grindstone would make that to 20. Um, yeah, I could see this being worthwhile. And if I had to grind on a gem here, this one probably be worth, well, assuming it rolls a crit rate or one something useful here. I could probably see grinding off the HP percent or maybe even the attack percent and putting on speed gem. Speed's everyone loves speed. Speed's good, right? So we'll see how it goes. Come on. Yeah, I really wish they had like power up 10 things. Oh, it had to roll flat. Man. As I said, even one sub, you'd be amazed at the actual probability that you have to avoid it. It's not high. All right, so I have these two last ones. So I got one that is crit rate and crit damage. They're not two good rolls because of that. But it is a blade rune. But because of that, I really will need to roll not the flat HP. Um, yeah. Okay. All right. That improved it. So it made it up to average by getting me a max roll on crit damage. But I'm more interested in the crit rate on this kind of item versus a crit damage because the crit rate is going to make it so that I can afford to use this speed rune. If it's just crit damage, it's a lot harder to actually gem up. All right, it rolled once that, so I'm just going to go ahead and vendor that. Now, it's not because this thing is useless. It's because, and it's not because I necessarily have quote, oh my god, better things. Even though look at this one, that's pretty much better. But yeah, right. Okay, it's because it doesn't have that much depth. There's just I'm not going to say do and get a whole lot of things that are useful out of that. Um, and if it fits on one monster once, it's not necessarily going to fit on another monster again. You want to keep on gemming. You want runes that you can gem and you can grindstone, and they become good enough that it doesn't matter if it's not on your first rate nuker. You can go on your second or your third, okay, or your fourth or your fifth. It has a spot somewhere that it can go. Those because it costs a lot of mana to power up. For instance, you probably only get well, that's pretty good. In this rune, I was aiming for either HP or defense percent. I thought were the best ones. If I rolled a bunch of accuracy or maybe one slot into accuracy, I'm okay with this. But this is a very nice defensive rune. It's got all four of the good, actually all five of the good defensive stats, even though resistance is low. Um, you want HP and defense; those are really good combinations together. And speed obviously goes well with that. Accuracy is obviously useful. It's not necessarily necessary for depending on the monster, but it's useful. And resistance is obviously a nice bonus. So it's got all five good defensive stats. Um, yeah. Wow. Okay. So we rolled HP percent. That's pretty cool. just thinking about things here. All right. I don't even know why I'm bothering to try plus 12 this. I think it's because I think it's pretty cool looking. Um, but to be honest, I should probably just go ahead and see what the next rune is that I'm going to need. Because it doesn't really matter here. I don't really care about a crit rate on this type of monster. And the speed is, is the most important thing, but it's predictable so that the rune optimizer is going to tell me exactly what speed that I need anyway. So, yeah. Okay. So I'll let this keep going on its okay, attack percent. Well, I guess that's a nice bonus. I mean, it's always nice to hit a little extra attack. Let's see, despair. I have a one, a three, and a four. All right, so let's go back over here, and we'll go down to my despair runes, and this four. All right, so this one to me, it really needs to have a double roll in HP to be even considered to be kept because it's probably going to be a broken set rune. It doesn't have any crit rate. It doesn't have any attack percent, and I really don't know of any. Maybe Mantura or something could use the extra HPC as a damage dealing capability, but I don't need resistance on this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and sell that. All right, I got another legendary rune here. So we're going to go ahead and up this. Obviously, here I'd like to roll, like everybody else in the whole world. I'd like to roll, well, everybody else in the whole world to play Summon for, okay? All right. Um, you want to roll speed. If you don't roll speed, you want to roll HP. You don't want to roll resistance. Stop rolling resistance. My God, it's two resistance rolls in a row, right? For this one and the previous one. Okay, but still 24 speed would be good. Okay, I'm dreaming. I know it's not going to roll 24 speed, um, but even at an 18 speed, this would be an okay rune. I doubt it's going to roll 18. That's just the way life works. But even if not, this would be possibly a good rune for getting mad about and wanting to rage quit this game. But yeah, so the chances of rolling quadruple speed, forget the actual max rolls, just the chance of rolling quadruple speed on these things is 1 in 64 times 1 in 64. Okay? That's the odds are bad. All right? Is that right? 1 in 64 times 1 in 64. No, 1 in 16 times 1 in 16. So 102, 1 in 256 that will roll average speed rolls. So that would be a 26 speed. Okay? Um, so when you see, my God, this rune's cursed. So when you see a rune that rolls like 27 and 28, those things are worse than 0.5% chance of actually happening. It's not lottery bad, okay? I've seen some people who have to win the lottery and stuff like that. That's a really big exaggeration. Lotteries are literally one in millions, okay? But you can buy as many lotto tickets as you want. Getting these legendary runes with actual speed subs is pretty hard. Even if you farm efficiently and you're lucky, maybe you get a couple a day in during the whole day. Unless you have a lot, you're really fast. Maybe you can get more if you're really fast and you spend all day like YCB punching that button, go, 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 go. Then maybe you can do it. But in reality, you're going to have to get lucky. On my other account, and my Europe account, I have a 28 base vampire rune and a 27 base endure rune that are both grinded up to +4. So they're 32 and 31 respectively. They're slot 3 and 6. Um, so obviously those are really good, but I got that one, the vampire rune, I got like 14 months ago. And now I got the Endure rune, I think, last month. So I've played since about a month after the release of Summoner's War. So I've been playing for over 2.5 years, and it's basically taken me a year to get a rune that good per rune. I don't think there was any twos. I think there was a one, right? Oh my gosh. I obviously have not upped up Legend these friends in a while. Now, unfortunately, the speed is an innate sub, so I can't roll it. I mean, yeah, I think this rune would be more like hope to roll HP. This is a rune that you're probably going to end up saying this is a world boss rune. I suppose if you rolled all crit damage and HP percent, you could gem off flat HP and make it a. Well, you can't put defense percent on here, okay, to start with, because you can't do that on slot one. So you could put on crit rate. Yeah, that'd probably be your only real bet here. So that's not bad. Okay, HP. So we continue doing those two rolls. Now the chances right now um, are one half and a one half. So basically, I only have a 25% chance that this rune will actually stay good, even though it's already rolled two good rolls just to get here. Um, because the chance of starting out the base was only 1 in 16 chance. That's how the probabilities work. If you have two good stats, the chance that it rolls everything into those two good stats is only 1 in 16. Yeah. So just having a non-bad stat on there to roll, a mediocre, you know, just having the initial stats what they roll, it's really influences what the possibility of the rune is. Now, of course, you can get crappy rolls in all of them, okay? But crappy rolls in all of them are still useful. It's still pretty good. So let's see. Come on, crit damage, flat HP. I didn't hit that. All right, so now I have one half chance, 50% chance that either goes crit damage or flat HP. If it doesn't, it really is it's a blue rune. Okay, but having said it's a blue rune, it still started off as a 6-star legendary rune, which makes this one as a good world boss rune. It failed, all right. We admit we failed, but we had to get it to plus 12 to see if it failed or if it was useful or not. And so you already invested 30% amount of money to get it to plus 15, and it even is a plus 12. It's not a bad world boss rune. Um, You could even throw a grindstone or two at it if you end up with extras to increase its efficiency up, so even better for world boss. Um, it's not terrible. It's just not what we want. But this is one of the reasons why I say you want to save up your mana. I think I've already spent 2 million mana today on doing all these things. Um, Definitely have to consider heavily what you want to keep and what you want to use. Man, this thing it just doesn't want to roll. Come on. Ah. So anyway, I have been working a lot on the last couple months on my Europe account and this account on raids, and I have been recording a whole bunch of data. Uh, I know Nightly Gaming did some like an example of like 1,000 runs where he didn't actually find any legendary speed runs. Let me tell you something. I don't know how unlucky he was, because I have done a lot of runs and got quite a few. Not necessarily me, of course, but other people. And not, of course, in rune sets that are useful sometimes, but I've gotten a lot of them. And I wanted to try to do an analysis of what actually the chances are that you get useful things. Okay, so I think that was it. I think there was only plus one to spare. Slot one to spare. So let's see. Right, and then we go to destroy, and I actually have You can tell I've been farming a bunch of Necro when I have four different destroy runes. See, I got a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. Alright, so the 4 must be. Alright, so this is an example of a world boss rune. I'm not going to bother powering it up, it's not interesting to viewers or anything. Um, Now, in comparison, this one's really good. Uh, this one, though, if I roll a bunch of speed or a bunch of crit rate on it, I could see that. Um, Defense percent is not something I'd be particularly interested in on this rune. And if it doesn't roll one of those, I'm probably just going to vendor it right away. To really for destroy rune for a broken set, it rolled minimum defense percent. I really want something that's going to roll those offset runes that they really roll really strong to be considered. All right, so I got a destroy attack percent rune. Uh, To me, this isn't an amazing rune. I need to dodge resistance essentially, but it doesn't have any of the three stats that I really have. Oh, okay, a max roll. Oh, that's always nice. It doesn't have really three essential stats I want to have on here: crit rate, crit damage, or speed. Um, but having one or two of these sitting around in your inventory is not too bad. A attack percent rune, if you make the crit rate up in other places, a defense percent is actually really good to have in Necro versus uh, HP, because the boss, when he steals your guy, he sets the defense to a particular value, but you retain the HP. So anything that you have at defense percent makes you tougher when he doesn't have you, and you makes you it weaker, right? So that you're easier to kill when he has stolen you. So that's actually useful. Unfortunately, this rolled went a whole roll resistance, and so I'm just going to vendor that because it's a destroy rune. If it was a violent rune or something like that, then okay, I got another legendary here. We can hope for the speed. We know it's not coming, but we can hope for it, right? At least this one doesn't have roll resistance. I have been rolling a lot of resistances today, haven't I? Oh, it was like I don't even know so far. Accuracy, minimum roll. That's not a good sign. Come on, really, truthfully, on this rune, I mean, you'd run roll anything but accuracy. So the fact that it rolls accuracy at the very start kind of sucks. But again, it is a legendary 6-star rune. These are the kind of runes that you want to save up for the world bots, even on failures. Because at some point, maybe you need an attacker destroy rune with accuracy. In fact, I think I was Shredded Puzzle who was talking the other day about using bark in his GB10 runs, and he wanted some accuracy. He actually slotted in accuracy in slot 6, which is very excessive, because you only need 55% accuracy in any dungeon run. Okay, and so he was slotting 64 in, so that's overkill. Um, but I'd probably want to have, if I have a broken set on there, I'd probably want to have it more be a focus set on there rather than a destroy set. But then again, wow, okay, plus 16 speed. I like that. Let's see, if one more roll in there, we could get 22. Even with that, this right here, I can grind that easily to 20. There's not really that high demand for destroy runes, so I usually only keep the best of them, which is what I really would encourage you to do. Because usually end up only possibly being broken set. So I would only keep purple or legendary 6-star runes for destroy, just period, because you just really don't use them that much. There's not any demand for them. There's no monsters that really call for them except maybe a Camila, and maybe Camila could be better on Nemesis, or maybe Kumon. But then Kumon wants to be, it's like there's just not that much call for them. So you want those, if you want them to be useful, you want the top end of them. Okay, and because they're not in high demand, also they're a lot easier to grind up because you have so few runes that you have so few runes left to spend all your grindstones on. So typically speaking, like speed grindstones and destroy. I have plenty to outfit. I think every single every destroy rune I have that can have speed has speed grinded because you find enough. Because it probably is only like 10, 15 destroy runes that I have kept. And so finding all those grindstones versus, you need like 3 or 4 speed grindstones for violent for every monster versus you need, so by the time you've gotten 3 or 4 monsters runed up, you have all your destroy runes grinded up. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Let's see if we can get speed here. Now, personally, I'm hoping that Come to Us comes out with a new dungeon that's going to make destroy runes more useful. Um, and they have, or possibly um, make them more useful on certain monsters. Beth recently got a nice buff. Okay, crit damage, and because of that buff, she is pretty cool for grindstones, for destroy runes. But I think there needs to be more of that kind of stuff. So more interactions that are cool. All right, that's right. The 4 we just we didn't bother upping. All right, so I have a slot 2 fatal. Hmm. Show off that awesomeness. Yeah, it's defense percent. So now this thing to me screams necro. Okay, because I want it to roll HP percent. If it doesn't roll HP percent, it's an instant sell. Okay, because I can see blue runes that are just as fine as this, and maybe in set. So it has to roll HP percent. So okay, now having said that, I mean I suppose you could go broken set with copper. Okay, but if I do that, it has to roll crit damage, and it has to roll pretty high crit damage. So let's see if it rolls crit damage again, because it has to roll one in. It's only a 1 in 9 chance that it would roll crit damage twice. So if we get it again, then it'd be worthwhile upping it. But otherwise, it's going to be a sell. All right. Well, the game's like this doesn't have resistance, so it can roll good, I guess. All right. So we're gonna go ahead. I guess we'll roll to +9, and I'm gonna keep it regardless whether it rolls into the crit damage or not, because yeah, maybe it'll be needed. I don't know. Okay. Well, at 26, you might as well go ahead and see if you can get the crit rate or the speed. Like I usually say, this rune is obviously pretty cool. I would want to grind on a crit rate or a speed sub on this thing to make it better. Probably I would prefer a crit rate over speed, but hopefully you can get one of those 2 stats as the last one. And obviously, extra HP on something like a copper is not a bad thing. Um, Unfortunately, it doesn't have any base speed at the moment. That would be pretty nice instead of the HP. Um, it would definitely make it a bit more useful. All right, so I got resistance. Okay, well, that's a keeper. Doing pretty decent then. All right, so I got Nemesis runes 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 3, 3. Right, 1, 3, 3. All right, so let's go back over here and check out the Nemesis. All right, so in this one, so it's got crit rate, crit damage, speed, HP percent. Now, obviously, I want to avoid the flat HP, but this is a Nemesis rune. I mean, really and truthfully, the crit rate is a little candy. Um, you really want to roll speed, like I just did there, or HP percent. Those would be really good for like monsters like Jasoon and Nemesis healers and stuff like that. Otherwise, you'd have to be roll quite a bit into crit rate to be considered. And to be honest, the number of Nemesis runed damage monsters is small. Um, the only one that really comes to my mind is Camila, because Camila has her base built-in cleansing ability and half damage taking ability. So, unfortunately, I don't have a Camila. So, I mean, this room would just be sitting in my inventory for a while if I decide to roll crit rate in for the rest of it. So, I really would prefer to roll speed or HP. Now, at this point, again, has 1 in 4 chance of rolling that, and a 1 in 4 chance, well, 1 in 2 chance of rolling the two I want, and 1 in 2 chance again of rolling it. So it's a 1 in 4 chance total of it being all into speed or all into HP. And only starting off, it was a 1 in 16. So that's we're doing pretty good so far. Can stay, see if we can stay lucky. It's a good thing this doesn't think have a resistance, because I keep rolling into that a lot today. Maybe it's telling me I need to make some more resistance heavy runes for R5. I don't know. I am burning through that mana though. All right, so now I have a 50% chance as it rolled all speed or all HP, and I like that. That's pretty good. I also like actually powering up on the first try. It makes this video a little, just a little bit shorter, you know. Um, ah. So anyway, I could take a little bit here, and maybe not. Ah, I rolled flat. Okay. Well, obviously I'm not gonna sell it because it's still okay. Didn't they say slot 3? Yeah, there's one. There's no. Oh, okay, we'll do this one first. Obviously, again, this must roll all speed. That's what you want to roll. I mean, you know, rolls crit damage again. As I said before, yeah, Camila, right? Okay. This would actually be a pretty good Camila rune because you could gem on the crit rate. But I wouldn't want to. I, The problem with that kind of thinking is that you have no depth. There's there's nothing else other than that would the monster that would go on, except a broken set. And if you consider that, wouldn't you want to have a blade rune? Because a blade rune at least would give you extra crit rate. We would pair with another one. So you really want to have HP and crit and speed. And if you roll crit damage, maybe if it rolled high crit damage, I would say keep it. If it rolled minimum, I'd be like, meh. I mean, now that it's already rolled speed and HP, I'd be not happy about a crit damage roll. I wouldn't sell it, but it would definitely be better if it was speed or HP. And that's kind of the difference. And it's like at that point, I've already invested my money into it. It's not worth selling it just to get a little bit of cash back out. It's because I've already figured out what its prospects is going to be, and but if they start, if it rolled crit damage to start, then I would probably sell it, even though it could roll HP speed and give me the same percent, because I no longer have that same upside. Now that was an awesome roll. I don't have any speed grindstones for that. No, no, I don't. All right, so that can be rolled 21 speed. That's a great rune for Jasoon. I would be thinking like this needs to be rolled defense percent on here with a gem and grinded. And that would make a pretty dang good rune right there. This one is exactly the same as the other one, but it's worse in every way. Yeah, I know. It sounds funny. Because it's a 5 star. So, on a 5 star, what can we hope for? Not a whole lot. Okay, rolled speed, start. Um, Even with the best you could possibly roll here, it's going to roll 18 possibly speed, which would be one better than the other one, but you would lose out on 12% HP. Um, Still, you do need multiple nemesis sets, so it's not bad to have extra ones here. Uh, okay, it rolled speed again, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and power it up to +9. We could get maybe 16. That would still be really good because you could take a 16 and power it up to to 20, just like the other one. Obviously, the other one is going to be equipped first, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so I'm Kolik, and I'm from Texas. All right, I was born and raised here. Well, okay, not technically. All right, technically I wasn't born here. All right, I was born in Delaware, but I only lived there a month. I mean, a 1 month-year-old baby, and I moved to Texas. See, I already knew that I had it made. I didn't like Delaware that much. I moved to Texas. And interesting thing about Texas is there's a lot of nice people down here. Um, there really are. We aren't all cowboys, like some people seem to think. Though I have to say, I know someone who owned a ranch and had horses. Uh, so it's a small world, I guess. So on rages, I have one, four, four, and five. Okay, the five's pretty easy to find. All right, so in this one, I'm really hoping for it. You want crit rate, okay, and you want crit damage, and you want speed. Now, this thing, bulldozer uses a rage defense percent. I can see copper with one, all right, but that sucks, all right, as a roll. I don't want accuracy so much. So these next rolls need to be pretty good. I don't have a lot of rage depth that you might have noticed when I've clicked over here. Wait, I might have that covered up when I clicked over here. This is the only slot 5 rage rune I actually have still in my inventory. Now I probably have a few equipped on various mobs sitting around um, just to free up space, but my depth is not that good. Okay, that's a decent roll in the defense percent. Let me take a look at what Bulldozer actually has. You guys are probably like, it's right there. Why can't you see it? Yeah, see, now this thing, it's not amazing. All right, we'll leave it with that. So, um, yeah, maybe I could get a crit damage roll here, or another defense percent roll, and then I could gem on, or maybe I could roll crit rate for the plus 12, and that would be an acceptable rune, because of my lack of depth in this thing. And that's one thing you got to think about is what is your kind of depth in that rune type to know whether you should keep it or not. At some point, you're gonna be like, I get a blue rune that's crit rate and crit damage, but it's 5 star, and that's not going to be good enough for you to keep. Okay, it just simply doesn't have the upside potential. Versus a 6 star, you might keep. It might be that you roll it to +9. Okay, especially if it's a 1 or a 5 slot to see if it rolls that speed or attack percent or HP percent or defense percent. You know, something that's going to combo with the rest of your damage stats. And you know, you okay. If it does, then you say, okay, it's worth powering up to +12. I guess I'm going to go ahead and keep this around because Bulldozer does have a built-in stun, so does Copper. But this rune is not one I'm happy with. It's not an amazing rune or anything. Huh. Now this rune is really questionable rune to me. It's a rage percent rune that's crit rate and crit damage, but it's slot 4. And I really don't know whether it's even worthwhile trying to power this rune up or not, even though it's max crit rate. You know, it's not that such a high cost to do it. Let's go ahead and power it up to +3. See if it gets a nice roll or if it gets a minimum roll. If I get a couple of nice rolls into crit rate, I mean, I could see this maybe being on even a Kumon. Um, I actually think on a Kumon, it's not necessarily a bad thing to be on a Kumon. Uh, because Kumon really doesn't get a whole lot of advantage out of being violent because he just doesn't. But I also think he just doesn't hit hard enough. So a rage set actually on him would not be a bad idea, but you do want some crit rate and crit damage subs. So I guess I'm talking myself into keeping this thing regardless of what it rolls. Um, and I do have a Kumon on this account. I recently just got like 3 or 4 skill ups from my summoning video. If you haven't seen that, Yeah, that's my last video. All right, well, that turned out okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. So this one though, this one I really want attack percent. That's all you want. Unfortunately, it's going to be probably missing either speed or crit rate, no matter even if it turns out well. And there's only a 1 in 27 chance that's actually going to roll all the attack percent. And as you can tell, it didn't. Now, I don't have a lot of depth in crit damage, so I'm going to just go ahead and roll it back up to +6 to see if I can get any attack percent. If I get an attack percent roll, then I'll go ahead and keep it because it'd be the equivalent of a blue rune. I still, my rage depth is not very good for crit damage, but if it doesn't roll that once, I'm just going to trash it. And it's going to be, yeah, yeah. I mean, I was thinking like, could you use it for R5? The answer is most of those that are going to R5 probably going to be one of them. If they're going to be an offset, they want vampire. Okay, so I have I think I have just have one rage rune left. This one. I go look real quick. Yes, this is the last rage rune left. So we'll see. Now it's a rage rune. I mean, obviously you could use it a broken set if it rolled really high speed. But this one's obviously going to be aiming towards hopefully crit rate and HP for some sort of Escher. That'd be a great addition. Obviously, you would like at least one roll into crit rate. But she wouldn't be bad if everything wanted HP. This one's a pretty nice rune overall. You just want to avoid resistance, which unfortunately is going to be it's not that easy, especially for me. But we're doing okay here. So the chances now are 3/4 and 3/4. So anyway, I've been playing games for a long time, ever since I was about 6 years old. When I made my first video game, it was pretty funny. I was writing in BASIC. If any of y'all know what that is, that's the language before Visual Basic, which is a definitely more powerful language. And it was the USS Enterprise fighting Klingons and Romulans. Now, not a very original game, obviously, but I'm 6. Okay, Star Trek was a big thing. The original Star Trek. Okay, yes, I am kind of that old. The original Star Trek was a big thing. Okay, I wasn't the original broadcast of it. All right, just the original Star Trek. Um, not quite that old. Okay, but the game to a 6-year old is pretty good. And I liked it for a while, and then I figured out that all you really had to do was put power to your shields, transfer power to your shields, energize your shields, and shoot your weapons. And if you did that, you couldn't possibly lose. Nothing else mattered. It had tractor beams and fighter bays and torpedoes and weapons and engines. Nothing else mattered. Okay, it's a game designed by a 6-year-old. Okay, there's one thing in there, and it's just broken. So this rune turned out to be really pretty good. I would love to put this on an Escher. Unfortunately, I don't have an Escher on this account. I just cannot roll one. But this would make an excellent Escher rune. Um, it also would make if you want to go with a rage or con, which most people are not doing, it would obviously make a great con rune. Most beast monks are not runed rage. Um, so there's that strike against it too. Uh, Obviously, like a light dragon would be an amazing thing for this rune. But again, who has light dragon? Not me. Okay, I can't even pull LND 4 stars worth anything. An LND 5 star, huh? I'm dreaming. All right, so there was a Swift slot 3 rune. It said. Or maybe I did that at the start. I did have to resort them, I think, for Swift. Alright, so those are probably done. Alright, so I got. Alright, that's about 2/3 of the rune, a little over 2/3 of the rune done. So I have one violent rune, and two vampire runes, and a few will. Alright, so let's go find that one violent rune. Now, I do like to keep all my violence in my inventory for any new toys that come up that I can go ahead and rune. There's that violent rune. So that's a pretty good violent rune. It's got already all four damage stats that you want. Okay? So, and not only that, it has max crit rate and max crit damage. Now, unfortunately, I can't gem the attack. Grind the attack. I would actually prefer crit damage to be the innate on this versus the attack percent. That would make his one level higher kind of rune if you want to think about it, because you can add that extra free roll in there from stones. But this is still a pretty good. This is a pretty good rune. Obviously, it could be 6-starred too. Um, but yeah, I mean, like the plus 12 stats, I don't need to roll this to plus 12 because it's already. I'm going to know the speed and I'm going to know the crit rate, so I don't need to go ahead and plus 12 this to start. I can decide to put it on whatever monster I want and then later on plus 12 it. And you can notice this is actually kind of an important point because I was started today, I believe, at 8 million mana, and I've already burned through 3 million. Okay, and I still have runes to go. Unfortunately, I rolled minimum speed. That sucks. But this is a quadruple good stat rune, so we will definitely go ahead. We're going to keep it regardless of what it rolled, basically. Um, so we'll just see what it does. All right, so I wrote my first computer game when I was 6, and that was pretty fun though. I got into computers. Then I got out of computers for a while. Got back into computers in high school when they had a computer science class. I find it really easy. Decided to pursue electrical engineering in college, but then I decided to go into computer science, and I graduated with a computer science degree. So I've been doing computer science stuff for a long time, and computer science stuff gives you basically a nice background in math too. And I know that most people don't think about it, but math is behind a lot of these video games. There's math really drives these video games, and being able to understand the math behind the game maker's decisions or your decisions in the game world can really help you on figuring out what you need to do to proceed. I thought it was a slot 3 vampire. No, it's 2 and 5. Well, there's only one 5 sitting out here. All right, so this one, I can't roll crit rate, unfortunately. So really, what I'm looking for here is speed, and and my chances are 1 in 27 for a triple speed roll. So it's pretty unlikely it's going to happen. All right, what do I know, right? Okay, always bet on Colic, guys. Come on, speed, speed, speed. Always bet on Colic. Yeah, don't always bet on Colic. Colic doesn't know everything. Doesn't pretend to know anything. He's just a nice guy. He may know a few things, and he likes to try and share them and help out other people. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please leave me a comment and let me know. Uh, it's kind of nice to be able to share this kind of moments with y'all on whether it goes good or bad, because it's swingy, right? You know, it's like, yes, I will max speed start, and then you're like, oh my god. And then you're like, yeah, you're like, oh, sweet. All right, so this rune's obviously pretty good. Anything that can go to 22 speed is, as grinded, is just ridiculously good. It's a keeper, regardless of what kind of set it is. It's just a keeper, and this is why you keep this type of rune. But it's got to roll it. I mean, that was only a 1 in 9 chance that would roll that, and a 1 in 9 chance that would roll max. So if that was a 1 in 81 chance, guys, wow. And it rolled speed again. Wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say. That could be a 26. pretty easily. No, I don't like to consider the legendary one. I mean, it could be 27, right? Those are very hard to get. As compared to my Bernard, though, whoo-wee, I uh, I need to find me a good Swift slot 4 speed rune there, and definitely this would be an improvement. I'm a Bernard, but this is Bernard. It's kind of slow. I know, I kind of slow, right? It's 186 speed. This could kick up this count significantly in its power level, and which kind of what you're aiming for, right? When you're winging those and you're hoping. And if you notice, uh, on those kind of rolls, the ones that you really hope for, they're all speed, okay? And the second one, and it's by far less importance, is all crit rate. And all crit rate rune is just amazing. And like that crit damage rune, rolled all crit rate, that thing is amazing, okay? Um, and you're going to keep it forever. First is it rolled all attack. You got to get the crit rate somewhere. I mean, you have to. So even rolled all attack, it may not have made it the cut later on because you just needed more crit rate. So the fact that it rolled all crit rate makes it, useful forever. All right, so this one kind of, speaking of crit rate, this one basically has to roll crit rate 3 times, and I mean, what can I say, guys? It's 1 in 27 chance. It would be awesome if it rolled it, but I'm not holding out my hopes here. Evidently, I need to talk this thing down because it's just every time I do, I get exactly what I want. I don't know what kind of luck that is. So what I'm saying is that man, my Theomars never procs violent, right? I just need to talk like that, and my Theomars will start procking violence. Um, I guess that's the way the game works, right? You just gotta say, I never rolls crit rate, and then I never rolls crit rate. All right, let's see. What else do I have for crit rate? So I have one that is plus. Oh, that's a speed one. That's defense percent. That's attack percent. All right. So I could go to the run optimizer and check that out too. I'm going to go ahead, and it's only a small more investment to go ahead and roll this to +9. But so I'm going to go ahead and roll it. I'm not too happy with it that it rolled into flat HP, but at least flat HP is actually better than attack. So flat HP is since it is an HP percent, is at least okay, somewhat usable. It's not an amazing thing. And when I hit +9, I'm probably going to keep it anyway, regardless, because I didn't see another HP crit rate vampire rune that I had in there. So that's the worst part right there is that you roll attack percent to start. If I rolled attack percent first, I probably would have sold this rune, saved myself some money. But that's the way this game works, right, guys? All right, so will runes, I have a 2, a 3, a 5, a 5, and a 6. All right, so 5 more runes to go, guys. 5 more runes. Okay, this is a flat. Okay, so this is a world boss rune, regardless, and it's not going to be the best world boss rune either. Um, if I think I need one, I will equip this and power it up. But on a world boss rune, you really want things that are not resistance, not accuracy, not crit damage, not crit rate. Okay? Because those four cannot be grinded higher. And this has 3 of them. Okay? So no matter what, this cannot equal a top tier world boss rune like other things can. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that one sitting in the inventory. It was two threes, I think it was. So there's that one. Let me go ahead and see if there's 2 3s or not. No, it was 2 5s. All right, so here we go. We'll see. Obviously, on this one, I want to avoid resistance. If I can avoid resistance, this would be an excellent bulldozer or copper rune. Um, it's very important on bulldozer to have a will rune. His Ignore damage ability stuns him, so the will rune prevents that. If you didn't know, but also the fact is that he will usually go second or technically third. You will usually run bulldozer in a bulldozer immensity copper team. And immensity powers out copper. Copper one shot something like Jasoon, and then immensity. I mean, bulldozers and cleans up things like Velajul. Because a common one that I see is Theomar's Velajul Jasoon. So you kill off Velajul. If Velajul derps and doesn't grant immunity, then you can just stun lock Theomar's usually and keep him down. Theomar's procking if he lands a defense break is very annoying. So the fact that this has a little bit of resistance is useful, but it's not a deciding factor whether I equip this rune or not. Whether I equip it or not is whether it rolls in defense percent or crit rate. Hmm. We really not like have another resistance roll here. If I roll another resistance, it may not even be equipped anywhere. I would probably go ahead and keep it. I mean, even not a defense percent monster, crit rate of 9, crit damage of 9, it's not bad. But resistance to me gets trumped a lot by the fact that it's a will rune, just because the whole system, how the system is. So having resistance on a will rune kind of is like, bleh. I mean, it's just, nobody wants it. If you listened earlier, though, that system that I was thinking about, resistance actually on a will rune would be kind of cool because the will rune would prevent any of the resistance from being deducted at the start, and then your resistance start getting broken after the immunity wore off. That actually would be kind of cool effect. Come to us. I'm talking to you. You know, redo resistance. Make it cool. Make it cool. Don't give us these crappy runes instead, like you have been. All right, I rolled minimum in the crit damage, but I'm obviously going to keep that. I don't think there was a 4, right? All right, so there are a couple fives. All right, so that one, and we're going to roll this one first. You know, speed. I'm a speed addict. Got to have more speed. So we'll see if I can roll speed into this thing. Ah, yes. Rolled speed. It's already good. A plus. A plus. I mean, you look at this. This is really the trifecta you want for a support monster. The three most preferred stats. Okay, you'd like defense percent. It adds a little bit bonus. You want resistance adds a little bit of things. But the three most important things. All right. Wow, more speed. All right, so the three most important things though are speed, HP, and accuracy. No matter what. I mean, even on a broken set, that's amazing to have all three of these. But to have these three on a will rune, that's pretty cool because now you're talking like you could grind this pretty easily with the purple speed grindstone to 21. And if you have not started in R5, guys, I have to say you need to start in R5. R5 is just awesome. It adds this next level to your runes. If you want to think about it like this, basically on R5 with this rune just as it is right here, okay, it would make it one level past orange. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. 23 speed will runes. Wow. Wow. My main account is jealous now, okay? I mean, my Europe account. That's what I call my main because it's got Perna. I mean, uh, and Zyros. But wow, 23 speed will runes. That's gonna be 27 grind. I have to hit R5, guys. I hope y'all you can contact me in game and Kolek and you can send me some invites, help me out a little bit here on these R5s. Um, because it gets in Europe Guild, man, we just the time zones match up since I'm in the United States and Europe. Basically, there's someone who like all the time you can grind R5 with and with your second team and stuff. But in the U.S., it doesn't seem to work that way. There's a lot of people who are working during the day, and then you get all the noobs coming out at night, and you get like 5 minute, 6 minute runs. They just you just feel bad when you're doing 5 6 minute runs, and versus Europe, you're doing like 2 minute runs 2.5 minute runs. Even when you have to carry your guildies, you're doing 2.5 3 minute runs. Uh, I didn't say carry your gillies. Sorry, Ninja. I didn't say your name. I mean, no, there's no drama there, guys. We just like to pick on some of the new guys. Anyway, oh, this thing. I really would like to roll more HP or defense percent. Um, any kind of rune like this with resistance. These three kind of subs. Great for R5 frontliner, regardless of if it's a broken set or not. So if I rolls another HP or defense percent, it'd be great. Alternatively, I mean, this thing is there definitely you could put some support monster that doesn't require a lot of speed. Want some more defense. A slow galleon actually would be a good example of this rune. Now you'd probably want some sort of accuracy on it too. But I mean, defense, a slow galleon to team up with some slower nukers rather than your speed nukers would be an excellent example where you could use this rune. So I'm going to go ahead and obviously going to keep that too. Wow, I think that is it. All right, guys. Well, that was an amazing amount of runes, and I am just amazed at how good of rolls some of those rolled. If you haven't been crafting runes, I highly suggest crafting it. You can find lots of good stuff. And yeah, this is Kolik, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Y'all have a good day.